Hey, what's up YouTube? I'm Midwest Raider. I'm coming at you with a new video on tips and tricks to beginning to be a mobile DJ. I think maybe I didn't put that out in the first video, but this is more for newer DJs, for beginning DJs, for DJs that are starting to mobile DJ and starting to put their equipment together, starting to decide what they want and what they don't want. I think this is going to help you guys a little bit more because I'll show you the way I kind of do things, how I get set up. And you know, you got to start from the bottom and work your way up, and that's why I had to make the other video a little bit drier, because of course it's talking about cables and extension cords and power strips and things like that, because that's just the way you start when I set up, right? So like I said, this is for more of the beginning DJs, but if you're an established DJ and you're already doing your thing, more power to you. And if you want to jump in the car with me, go for the ride and just see how I do things, then I'm glad you're here and you're going to do that. But this is more for the beginning DJs and starting DJs to check out. But like I said, I appreciate anybody that's watching the video, and you know, maybe you can, knowledge is power, and you can see how I do things, and maybe it might apply and help you in the future do things that you do out there. So thank you guys. Put that out there. Like I said, anybody can grab a laptop and a portable speaker and play for 20 people at a party, but I'm talking about more for the mobile DJ, where we are going to do businesses, commercial things, churches, school gigs for kids, and we're talking 50 to 200 people. And for that, you're going to need a little bit more equipment, and you have to bring everything yourself. So you have to have all this stuff and be able to do a gig, and maybe, like I said, have one extra just in case if something happens during your gig. So I'm just trying to put that out there and help you guys, whoever wants to listen and enjoy whatever I'm doing. Like I said, I'm doing it from the heart, just to help anybody out there I can. I like helping. I like putting my knowledge out there that I have. It's not much, but it's a little bit. Been doing it for a little while, and anybody that can help, thank you. So let's go ahead and get started. I just want to kind of relapse the other video that I did. We talked about, I'll start at the basics again. We talked about having a good extension cord, 25 to 50. We talked about having a good laptop stand, because that's going to keep you upright. It's going to keep your head up. It's going to keep your back from hurting all day. We talked about picking up some sheets, white or black. That way you can put it on your table, give it a nice look. Nice professional look, cover that up. We talked about having a good backpack to put all your stuff in, or some cases, some plastic cases to put your stuff in. That way you have those as you start building up your equipment. We talked about having a facade or facade, or however you want to say it, a booth, to be able to cover your equipment, because you notice right now all my wires are exposed. You can see everything. If that's your style, if that's the way you want to see it. And like I said, probably you could get away with not having this at first, you know, and you could just show your stuff off. But like I said, over time, notice I covered that up, and I mean, it just looks a little bit more professional. And this gives you a workspace. It gives you a booth. You can duck down, you can take a drink, you can eat some food, you can play with your phone real quick if you need to get something done. But it just gives you a workspace, a booth, a little bit of privacy, and I think that goes a long way when you start DJing. Like I said, all opinions. So like I said, so that was probably the most expensive thing, a booth, when you get that way. And so that'll probably cost you $100, if not more, because you know, go from all the way up to, you know, whatever you want to pay for those. So that's probably the most expensive thing, but even with all the other stuff I talked about, you're probably at least around $300. I wouldn't go any cheaper on a power strip too. You want to get something with power filtering capabilities, or get a power conditioner. And that way you can be able to plug all your stuff into that. And if they have any electronical issues running all kinds of things that they run at these things, then that won't affect your music with feedback or anything like that, because I've seen it happen, guys. And then, like I said, you want to have a table, because I've gone to places and they don't have a table. So just little things like that, you want to have all that kind of stuff. So let's jump into this video now. it's a little bit more of the meat and potatoes, the stuff that you guys want to know about, which is like a laptop. Now, with the laptop, all I have to say is that you can go ahead and pick up any laptop. There's always been a controversy over the best DJ laptop. Well, everybody's MacBook Pro, everybody wants an Apple computer, and yes, they are awesome and fast, but I've had really good luck with a Windows computer. The only thing, like I said, just make sure you meet the requirements for whatever software you get. And not only do you want to meet them, but you probably want to go a step above and get something that's a little bit above their standards. That way your computer will last you a little bit longer. Also, what will make your computer last a little bit longer is to only use this computer for DJing. I know a lot of people can't afford to do that, but I would suggest if you're going to get into mobile DJing, go buy a separate computer, a real cheapy computer to surf the internet, watch videos, do whatever you want to do on the internet. The only thing I do on the internet with this laptop is go to my DJ record pool for music and download, my softwares and stuff like that, and updates and that kind of thing. That is going to make this computer last a lot longer for you. It's going to perform better. You're not going to have any slowdowns and that kind of stuff as long as you just keep this for DJing. That's my biggest tip, is I only use that laptop for DJing. I think industry standards for most softwares is just to have an Intel Core 2 or ADM X2 Athlon, which is your dual-core processors, and 2 gigs of RAM. And that's probably their minimum requirements. Like I said, I would go a step above that, and you can easily pick up a laptop that'll meet all these standards nowadays for $350. I think I saw a laptop at Walmart and it had, met those standards, and also had a 500 gig hard drive and like 4 to 8 gigs of RAM. You only have to have 2 gigs of RAM, and it meets all those software requirements, and it was only like $349. If not, pawn shops, Facebook, garage sales, that kind of stuff, you can find a good laptop that'll meet that standards, and pick it up reasonably cheap too as well. So all up to you up on laptop, but those are a little bit of my opinions on that. The next thing I would plug in is I would get my controller ready. You could do a gig without a controller. You could just go into your software, push buttons, point and click with a mouse. That's why I always have a mouse with me as well. And you could do that, and you could get away with that easily. I think it just makes you look more like a DJ when you have a controller, and you can manipulate all your controls with your trebles and your basses and crossfaders and hot points and all that kind of stuff. So you can perform much better with a controller, but you could get away if you're running tight with just your software on your computer. Now this is just my go-to setup that I would normally do for most things, but you might have customers that want they want 2 turntables and a mixer. They want you to have turntables. They want you to look like a old school DJ. That'll pin on your customer. So there's all kinds of you can have 2 CDJs, and you could use CDs, you could use records, you could use digital vinyls, you could use digital CD players, you could use all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of different setups, but this is just the one that I found the easiest when I started. Okay, I also have Newmark V7s with a mixer, and you can run that kind of stuff. The sky's the limit on the different setups, but I think the easiest DJ setup is just a laptop and a nice controller. You can buy controllers for $99. I've seen a Gemini, Slate, and a Newmark's. You can get those for like $100 to $139. Look on eBay. I had a DJ Wego for many years. It was very portable, very small, and it worked great for me. Those are still at $200. This DDJ SB3 is still in the $200 range, and that's what I have now, and it's pretty standard for mobile DJs to use. So, and that's a Pioneer. So easily going to cost you $100 to $200, and then with your laptop probably another $200. So you're easily in the another $300 to $400 range. But that's going to be the basics that you're going to need to get going. So with the basics that we had in the other one, and I'm going cheap, and I'm saying cheap as in the cheapest you can get with the quality that you're going to need. I'm not telling you to get any stuff that hasn't worked for me. I'm not telling you I'm getting stuff that's, you know, junk. I'm just saying cheap as in the cheapest that I could find it and that I would personally use. So like I said, at the cheapest we were at like the $300 range, and then at the cheapest here we'd be at another $300 range. So you're in the $600 range just to get started. And that's probably what you would just need for the basics to get started there. You're at $600. Now I'm going to show you a couple extra things that I have on the table here. You're also going to need some cables, so maybe put that in the $650 range. But you're going to need some basic cables. And these are your basic cables that you're going to get. Like if you bought a controller, it should come with these. And, you know, so that's okay because you're buying it with the controller. If you buy a controller off eBay, it might not come with the cables, so you're gonna have to go pay $3 to $5 for these cables. Another good cable to have, like if you didn't, I'll show you my setup here in a second, but these piggyback cables are really good. These are your basic, you know, red and white cables, but they have the piggyback. That's an easy way to add a channel to whatever you need, or to run like if you only had one, if you wanted to run these and then you wanted to run like a powered sub, you could run the outs and it would be as an out to your sub. So then you could use a sub, or this could easily work as a third channel for you. You could hook up, yeah, I have one here. You could hook up, you know, RCA to 3.5 millimeter jack, and you could run that to an iPad or something, or a phone, and you could easily set up a third channel too with these piggyback cables. So I do like those. Also, this is a Monster cable. You can pick these up at Walmart now, and they're reasonably cheap. They're $7 to $10 for a Monster cable. So it's a pretty good deal too as well. So yeah, I really like these piggyback cables because it can help you in a bind and make setups easier too. Now on my setup here, I run just a single 2-channel mixer. Sorry, a 2-channel mixer, but I run it with my controller as well. And what I do is I use that for requests. So if I don't have it on my laptop, which I usually have all my music on my laptop, so it's kind of an emergency type thing, but if I don't have that song, or I don't have a clean version of that song or something like that, I can go to, you know, Spotify, which I pay for, or I could go, you know, somewhere, and I could use this and go to a tablet or something and search that song and find it. So this is just a Gemini MM1. It's a little tiny mixer, and you know, so I have it the whole night usually faded over to my controller and my main setup. But if I needed to get a request real quick, then I'll find that song, you know, and then when I'm ready to play it, I just fade it over to the other side, and I have my tablet or whatever that I've searched, and I found the song, and boom, I can do it that way. So that's just, you know, how I work it, but you can do it any way you guys like, but that's just an easy way for me to be able to do requests, because especially when I do kids dances, they want to request all kinds of stuff, guys. So sometimes you just don't have all that music. So that's one thing there. Like I said, I have mouses. I like to use a mouse, and you can get corded mouses, you can get wireless mouses, but I always just have a mouse just in case. I think the next thing I'll go into real quick, so that's your basic setup. We'll go into speakers. And all you're going to need for speakers in the next video. The only last thing I want to touch basis in is software. So when we're talking about the laptop, we have your 3 basic softwares. There is some other stuff out there, but your 3 basics are going to be Traktor, Serato, and Virtual DJ. I started out with Virtual DJ just because it was the cheapest at the time. And also they had a home version where you can pretty much use the whole software, but it's just made for home. You're actually not supposed to use it for events and stuff like that. But you can use it at home, and you can have the full software, and you can use it and practice and play, and you know, it's free. So I mean, that's the easiest thing to do. When you start using it for events and stuff, then you want to have the license to do that. Also, when you're picking software, I think the best is to understand, you know, think ahead a little bit. Think about what kind of controllers you want to have in the future. Think about that kind of stuff, because easily to buy the licensing for some of these controllers to use with the software, it's like $100 a license. And so sometimes it's cheaper to just go in and go ahead and buy the full license. I think most softwares are going to cost you about $100 anyways. So save up your money and go ahead and buy like the $300 all-inclusive license that gives you access to everything, all the features, all the licensing and that kind of stuff. That way in the future, if you know, I had a WeGo, now I have a DDJ SP3, maybe I want to use a Traktor controller, maybe I want to use this or that, and that way you don't have to pay $100 every time you buy a new controller. So it's going to save you money in the long run. Everybody will argue on what software is the best, but I would just suggest use whatever works for you. Like I said, I started out with Virtual DJ because I was able to, you know, have a free version of that and practice a lot before I even, you know, decided I was going to do whatever mobile DJ or whatever. So that just worked out the best for me. But I do have all 3 softwares now. I have Serato, which is the newest one that I've started using, but I had Traktor before that. And the only thing with Traktor I would say is that Traktor is a little bit more inclusive, where you have to have a Traktor controller, and you can only use Traktor stuff with Traktor software. They don't really combine a lot of the other stuff to be able to merge with it. So, but all their stuff works good, and I like that software as well, and I've used that a lot as well. And then Serato is probably my newest software. I do like that. I do use it. I definitely like the way they set up their crates and stuff like that. But like I said, I haven't used it that much, but I do like that software as well. And a lot of people around the world like that software more than other softwares. So they all do things different. They all work very good. I like all 3 of them. It just depends on what you like. So that's pretty much what comes down to software, and it's all going to cost you. Most software start out at $100. Virtual DJ starts out free for the home. Serato has a light version that you can practice on for a while for free. And then Traktor, pretty much I had to pay for Traktor right away. So that's the information on that. So guys, this is this video. I'll go into my next video and I'll show you kind of the little mini version of the setup here. We'll also go into some amps and speakers if we're going to go that way. You're also going to need a microphone, of course, so we'll talk about a microphone a little bit, just a little bit. And you know, like I said, just for basics, at the cheapest you could do it, we're already in the $600 range. So just to put that out there, guys. And we're still going to go into speakers and stuff, which you can go off the plant with all that stuff. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope you guys like me chattering and going on rants, but at least I'm just putting information out there for you. I'm glad you guys tuned in, and we'll see you on the next video. Thank you guys.